Hi, I'm Ray.
And I'm Jenny, and we're Weber Family Reviews, and these are the couple of games that we just recently played off our Wall of Shame.
So we're having a lot of work issues and the like, so the filming's slowed down.
The game playing has slowed down.
And during that period of time, in our infinite wisdom, we continued to purchase games. And not only did we continue to purchase games, Kickstarters from 2 or 3 years ago have been flowing in. So
Our Wall of Shame is a little daunting right now.
little bits at a time. So we did 3. And I'm going to start with the one that I was like, I want to play. And, oh, by the way, several of these came from swap meets. So we traded.
Or Facebook Marketplace. This was Facebook Marketplace.
All right, Flip City. It is a deck builder with 2-sided cards. It intrigued me. I wanted to try it, and at a swap meet, it was $5. So I got it. So far, this one we've spent $20 total because we bought the expansion because we played it the first time, and I really liked it. But it was going to get boring pretty quick with the minimal amount that came in the box. So they have 2 expansions out before TMG went out of business. We were able to get 1 cheap. And the other one we can't find yet. So if I find Wilderness, I'll pick it up. But Flip City is just that, a deck builder. But you got to keep everything the proper size. So you shuffle under the thing so you don't see it. They're the proper sides, and you can flip them to do things. What'd you think? Because, we're talking about each of these that we've played off the Shelf of Shame.
I think it was good. I agree. The first time we played it, you have so it's just like any other deck builder where there's a line of cards that you can purchase with how much money you've generated that turn. And there was only 4 options the first time. It just wasn't...
Or 5.
Or 5. Something. It just wasn't quite enough. And the expansion we bought added 2 more cards. But that's a pretty big deal when you're talking about choices. And you're trying to keep your population happy. And there's certain cards that make you draw. Because usually you get to pick. You can look and go, I don't want to. Because there's this bust. And you can bust. And then you don't get anything. And you pretty much lose your turn. And so
frownies. Rodney Smith called them frownies.
Yes, frowny faces. So if you get 3 frowny faces, you bust. And so you have to be really careful. Because early on it is very easy to bust. Because you're forced to draw on certain ones. And getting them flipped is important, and it's all about that flip and getting the points, because you have to get so many points out in your tableau, or so many cards. There's one card that allows a number of cards, but it's a ridiculous amount, and so it's all about getting it out at the right timing, and so
it's different.
It's different. It's definitely, the flipping makes it very different with the 2-sided cards. So it was cute, and it was little.
Yeah. As a deck builder, it's probably one of the smallest deck builders out there.
And it's got a different feel than most deck builders because the whole flipping, so you feel like you're doing something a little bit different. But it's still that city building tableau, but each time you clean your city and you start over again because you shuffle.
All right, what do you got?
Well, then we got Keyflower here. And this was something I hadn't played in the key games, and everyone always talks about them. So when this came up on Facebook Marketplace, I was like, ooh, we should get one of them. And it turns out Ray knew he'd played one of them. Turned out he'd played this one. And this one is, this reminded me in a lot of ways of some of the West Kingdom games, because you have meeples, but they're not yours. And they're different colors, and the color matters, except if you get the right boat that Ray did, and then throws that all out the window. But you're bidding. Now, what I thought was really cool about this was that if you're losing, you can choose to reallocate yours. If you're like, okay, I don't want to try to one-up them, and you can add and re-up them. You can choose to reallocate your workers that are losing and put them somewhere else. You have to keep them together, but I love that feeling, because then you didn't feel like
you didn't waste them.
You weren't wasting them, because you can only have 6 workers. So there was a limit to how high you could bid, and you're bidding because then you get to pick that tile and you get to put it in your city, and it generates.
I don't know if there's a limit to how many you can bid. There's
6.
a limit to how many can be on the tile, not how many.
I thought it was we'll have to check the rules. I thought it was around 2, but anyways, 2-player, it worked pretty smooth, and it went pretty fast, and it was I felt like at the end you had a cool little city working. It was only 4 rounds. It didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome. And there's definitely some thought into what I do when. And then the last round in winter, you're actually doing your kind of the victory point ones.
It's very interesting. I don't know where I stand with it compared to the West Kingdoms, but I think it's different from those even with several of the mechanisms.
It's different enough you could easily have two, and for now it's staying in our collection. We enjoyed it, and I think it will stay around for a while because we did enjoy it.
AP Prone though.
Yes, I could see some with AP getting very much stuck, especially with that reallocation.
Yep. Last one we did was another find in swap meet. We get rid of our games generally at local game swap meets. And this is Villages of Valearia. There's 1,000 Valearia games now, I guess. I mean, we backed one because Stan Kurdowski did one. It's not here yet, but you know. This one is a tableau building card game where you're getting gold to use to get resources on each turn, but things flow. And it has one of my favorite mechanisms that aren't used that often. The follow mechanism. So I do an action, she can do a lesser action on my turn of that same type. It went pretty well. I liked it a lot for what it was. It's not super complicated, it's pretty quick, but I also like, you know, if I was going for complicated, I'd go for Reavers of Midgard. So.
Yeah, I mean, is Reavers a better game? Absolutely. But this is a good little game, and it's got that follow mechanism he likes.
Yep.
There's been lots of games that he really likes. There's been a couple that we've had and ended up getting rid of that he really likes, and he likes that mechanism. That also has the multi-use cards, because often you have to spend cards to put cards out, and that's another thing.
Or the card could be resources.
Yes, because you can. The cards have the top, which is what you can buy it for, is the building put in your tableau, or you can discard a random card out of your hand, and you get to pick it, to flip it to the other side and put it as resources you have available. Now you have to put a gold coin in it, but your golds don't go anywhere. They're kind of like a placeholder, but you need enough to be able to put them around.
And you can spend them to get more guys that do more cool things. And you're right, you also get the they also have like abilities for each action on them.
Well, and what we noticed, like as we were doing, like I had all these ones that helped when you built, but then there were some cards that help with each of the different actions you could take, and I think a way to maximize would be early on if you could get something for each one of them. So every time I did an action, whether I'm following or doing it, I get this extra ability. And a lot of times it might be drawing cards, it might be for build. You get, like I had 2 extra resources every time I built. Well, that means I don't have to have a goal for it, and I don't have to have it available. So like I didn't need duplicates, because some of them are like you need 2 and 2. Well, I didn't have 2 and 2, so.
So these 3, at least for now, are staying in the collection. I think we got 30 more to go through.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure not all of them will stay, but hopefully there's some really good gems in the pile. Some I'm really looking forward to.
I don't think these were super gems, but I think they were good.
They were good. And I think that they all held up to what we were hoping for them. And like I was impressed, but I can see why a lot of people like the key games. I still think I probably like West Kingdoms more, but I feel like I was telling her I think this would be easier to teach, and I might be wrong, than West Kingdom. I think West Kingdom has more moving parts. The nice thing about all 3 of these is I think they would be very easy to teach.
Yeah.
They're pretty quick setups, which is a major factor for us, because like the West Kingdoms are great, but they're not an easy setup.
They take their time.
So.
All right, well, look, we're back, and we'll probably have stupidly long time between videos again. So, thank you. Have a great day. Happy gaming.